Problem is, no evidence of these people has ever been found. Understand that there is no Jamaican archaeology. There is nobody out there digging up any part of this island to try to find any evidence of anything. So they found no burial grounds, no tombs, no temples, not even a bone fragment or a hair follicle so we can test some DNA. None of this, even though they say that these people lived here for 10,000 years. How do you live anywhere for 10,000 years and not leave an archaeological record of yourself? That's because those Arawak Indians never existed here. In fact, the only people that we can prove existed here in this region are the so-called Caribs. And guess what? The Caribs are not medium-build, copper-colored people. They are black. If anyone's ever been to Trinidad or St. Vincent or St. Lucia or St. Kitts, where these Caribs supposedly were, you'll see that the people that call themselves Caribs are black. They do have some of them curly hair, straight hair, but we know that that exists inside the black gene pool anyway. Alright? There were no Arawak Indians in this entire region. Research by pioneering black historians and anthropologists revealed that the people Columbus actually encountered here in 1494 were likely the same as he encountered in America, which he wrote about in his journals. They were black-skinned, nappy-haired Nubians. Okay? There's another explorer named Giovanni de Verrazzano, who came to America about 20 years after Columbus, 1514. And he wrote in his journals that the people he encountered were Ethiopian. He said nothing about copper-colored people. And if those people had existed in the Americas for thousands of years, it's a fair expectation that they lived on these islands as well. They lived everywhere. And we're going to see that they left evidence everywhere. So, the point I'm making is, most of our ancestors were already here. Alright? And they had been here for tens of thousands of years, as I'm going to prove. Historians have discovered what they were called. They were called the Amaru. Amaru, this is where the term America comes from. It doesn't come from Amerigo Vespucci. It came from the Amaru, because they knew who was here originally. And another name for them is the Olmec sheep. Well, guess what? Mek, sheep, ko, Mexico. That's where the term Mexico comes from. So if you talk about Americans or Mexicans, you're talking about our ancestors. And they inhabited the entire region, as I showed you, North, Central, and South America, and the Caribbean. They are the real Amerindians that I was taught in high school, and they were black people. You don't know them because Europeans gave them other names. Just like they made up the name Arawak from the Arawa, they made up all these other names to keep you from realizing that everything in the Americas is you. Every artifact they find is you. Every monument they find, you built. But instead they tell you it's Maya, and Inca, and Aztec, and Toltec, and Taino, and Carib, and Arawak. These are all names they made up. Understand that. Alright. And of course, they told you that this is what the Arawak looked like. Yeah. Or the Amerindians. Right? Anyone ever seen any Jamaicans looking like this? You know why? They never existed here. They want you to think that that's what the Arawak looked like, because they don't want you to know that this is what they look like. These are the original Amaru Khans. These are the original Olmec sheep. These are our ancestors. These are called the Olmec colossi. Colossi from colossal. And these are massive stone carvings of white people. I mean, this guy looks pretty white, right? This is a white dude, right?
Yeah.
No?
No.
Okay, well, okay. These are black people. And they're carved out of one solid piece of basalt rock. Basalt is the second hardest rock on earth. First hardest is granite, which is what the pyramids are made out of. And they've dated these at these heads, and they estimate that they're somewhere between 16,000 to 20,000 years old. Stop and think about that, beloveds. 20,000 years ago, a race of black people excavated massive granite rocks out of the mountains, basalt rocks, and then etched themselves into these rocks. What kind of technology would they have had to be able to do this 20,000 years ago? Because it wouldn't have been a copper chisel. Alright? And I like this slide. Just a comparison. Here's a white dude, and here's a white dude. Right? So we were certain that the Olmec were white. Okay. These depictions weren't just depictions of ourselves. Because if you think about it, I'm not sure why it would be necessary to carve yourself into stone like that. These were actually depictions of our gods. But that's a powerful statement, isn't it? That the depictions of the gods look just like the people. You see what I'm saying? Okay? Historically, every ancient culture always depicted their gods to look like themselves. There's a reason it says in the book that the Creator created man in His image. That means your God must have looked like you. And since there's 5 billion black people on the planet, I would like to believe that a black God created me. I'm just saying.